Hi everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar on effective recruitment for your affiliate program. We're going to go ahead and get started in a couple minutes here to allow everyone to get logged in. If you have any issues with the screen share or anything like that, just let us know through the chat feature and we'll go ahead and get started soon. Thanks. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for joining today's webinar on effective recruitment for your affiliate program. My name is Chris, and I'll be your host for today. And in today's webinar, we're going to discuss some of the effective recruitment techniques and how this will help you to grow your affiliate program, how to engage in new partnerships, and we'll talk about how to keep your publishers engaged once they become part of your program. So as a quick overview, on today's webinar, we'll review some of the benefits of recruitment, what the recruitment process looks like, and what some of the next steps and best practices are. We'll take a quick look at a timeline for what you can look at when you're starting to recruit publishers to your program. We'll go over a few publisher examples, and then we'll take a look at some frequently asked questions related to publisher recruitment. I'll also allow any questions as we go through the webinar if you want to submit them as we go through or towards the end. And then at the end of the webinar, if we have some extra time, I'll try to get to as many questions as we can. But I'll also be distributing the deck after the webinar to everyone as well with any questions we maybe didn't get a chance to cover. All right, so let's go over a few of the benefits of recruiting publishers to your program. So at a high level, dedicating time and resources toward ongoing recruitment efforts helps to drive successful affiliate programs. So it's important to set goals and benchmarks for your program. And it's equally important to align these recruitment goals with what your overall objectives and goals are for your program as a whole. And if you have not already, be sure to set up some program KPIs or key performance indicators for the month of November. And just as a quick reminder, you can update your KPIs each month and view between 1 to 3 on your dashboard. So I won't spend too much time going over this as well. But in terms of publisher recruitment, some great KPIs to consider might be click active or revenue active publishers in your program. As the quicker that you can recruit publishers and have them start to generate traffic and sales for the program, the quicker you can start to build your partnerships. So what are you looking to achieve when you're recruiting publishers to the program? So you're looking to drive revenue, build brand awareness, target new customers, and increase your traffic. So a few additional benefits may to increase conversion, increase mobile sales, or maybe increase your average order value. So these are just some common goals to keep in mind when you're recruiting to publishers to the program. So we've identified why it's important to recruit some of these publishers to the program. So let's take a look at what some of the insights behind each publisher that you can get. So you want to start by reviewing your top performing publishers on Pepperjam. And the purpose of this will be to identify which top performing network publishers you'll want to recruit. And you might be asking, are the top performing publishers driving revenue and traffic for your program? So you want to leverage your account manager or our advertiser support team if you don't have an updated list of who the top publishers are. So certainly reach out to either your account manager or the support team to get an updated list. And we can also provide a gap analysis to take a look at how your program is working with some of these top publishers in relation to similar advertisers on the network. Or we can also provide a specific category list that might be more related to your vertical as well. So secondly here, you'll also want to conduct a competitive analysis, and a couple questions that you might want to ask when you're performing this would be, are your competitors being promoted on sites where you aren't? And are your competitors taking part in publisher placement opportunities that you aren't? And this can be achieved by simply visiting various publisher sites to identify where your publishers are being promoted, or by searching your competitor in a search engine like Google to see which publishers pop up first. So lastly, you want to review top performing publishers currently within your program, as this will help you to identify which types of publishers that are currently driving success for your program. And for example, if your top publishers are currently providing cashback or points to their consumers, these loyalty publishers would likely be a good area for you to focus your efforts in terms of recruitment going forward. So we've touched base on some of the high-level benefits of recruitment, so we're going to walk through some of the actual recruitment processes within the network. The portion of the interface that you're going to be spending the majority of your time in terms of your publisher relationships is the Publishers tab, and specifically Manage Publishers. This tab will automatically sort by the publishers on the network that you currently have no relationship with. And there are thousands of publishers on the network, so you want to use your available filters to help you identify the targeted publishers that are going to be the best fit for your program. And you can see on the screenshot here, there are numerous filters that you can use to help you sort publishers. An important one to keep in mind is category. So which vertical does that publisher classify themselves in? And also keep in mind that publishers might fall under multiple categories. Another important filter to keep in mind is promotional method. So meaning how do they promote on their site? And they can have multiple promotional methods available as well. So for example, you might want to take a look at a specific blog site or maybe someone that's a coupon or loyalty site if you're looking for a certain promotional type within your publishers. And you can narrow things down a little bit further by adding some additional keywords. So for example, if you're looking for publishers that align with women's fashion, you might want to use a keyword of fashion, or maybe you wanted to use beauty to help narrow things down to a more specific niche within that higher level category. And you might want to try a few different keywords out to see how that affects your overall search. So customer reach is also an important filter. So if you're thinking of targeting publishers that promote within a certain region, you might want to look for publishers within that customer reach. So maybe if you're looking for publishers that have a reach in Canada, you can select that feature as well. And if you have a specific publisher you're looking for, maybe you're unsure if they're already on the network or you'd like to locate them quickly, you can utilize different filter options within the left side or the left column by inserting their company name or URL, email address, or especially their publisher ID. If you do have that, that helps to locate them faster. But also keep in mind that the broader that your search is, the better your results will be. So start off by maybe including a few letters of that publisher name to see what the results will list, and then go from there to help find the publisher that you're looking for. So you're probably noticing two sections within the screenshot as well that we haven't covered yet, and that's Premier Publishers and Transparency. So as we move along, we'll spend a little extra time in these two areas. So these are two attributes that you're going to want to take a look at whenever you're recruiting publishers to the program. And the first one we'll take a look at is transparency rating. And you'll notice whenever you look at a large group of publishers, they'll always have that blue bar underneath their name. And that indicates their transparency rating on the network. So this is scaled from 0 to 5, so 5 being the highest. And publishers can earn a higher transparency rating when they're more responsive, compliant, and also send quality traffic. So this is not to say that a publisher that maybe has a lower transparency rating is necessarily a bad publisher, or they may even just be new to the network, but you'll want to start some communication with them and be sure that you're discussing your program with them before you decide to invite or accept their application. So going along with the transparency rating as well, you'll see some publishers have a blue and white P next to their name, and that indicates that they're a premier publisher on the network. So premier publishers are top publishers on the network who are tagged with this blue P, and they work very closely with our publisher development team to maintain this status. And this status is also determined by their responsiveness, promotional capabilities, and performance, and they must hold a 5 transparency rating consistently. So especially if you've recently launched your program or you're looking to do a general audit of your publishers, take a look at who some of these premier publishers are within the different categories and promotional methods that you're looking for. So lastly, going along with your publisher recruitment methods here, it's important to track your process. So as you're starting to recruit publishers, you want to create a list. You can send a publisher an invite to join the program, or you can hold off until you've already created a list so that you can start tackling your list and keep track of who you've sent invites to, whether they've joined, and what their current status might be. So you may be wondering how you're going to get additional details on a publisher or how to find more info about them before you decide to invite them to your program. So you can click on that publisher name, and what will populate for you is their publisher details page. You can toggle from a few different tabs on this page as well, including their website, whether they have any additional websites that go along with that. You can view their customer reach, their contact info, their promotional methods, and also their social media footprint to get more familiar with some of the different areas in which that publisher promotes. So going along with this as well, we recently launched a new tool called Optimizer, and it's a very useful tool to help find publishers that are going to be a good fit for your program, and gives you a lot of advanced ways to search for publishers that will be the best fit by a number of other things that were not previously available. So Pepperjam's recommendation engine uses millions of data points to recommend to you who you should partner with in order to meet your specific goals. And if you've not yet logged into Optimizer, you can locate this in the upper left-hand corner next to the Pepperjam logo. And click on Forgot Password, enter your network login email address, and you'll receive an email prompting you to set a new password. And you can click this to create your Optimizer password and then log in. So you'll choose your default sort order on both the recommendations page and the advanced search page, which we'll take a look at in a second here as well. And this helps you to focus on different metrics that are the most valuable to you when you're looking for publishers to recruit to the program. So the more relevant results will save you time in your search. And so Optimizer does give you an advanced search option where you can narrow your search down by network performance, average monthly views, and social media presence on different social media platforms and more. And the performance indicator is calculated based on network performance data of different publishers. And this gives you insights into how that publisher is performing on Pepperjam. And to give you a quick example of what your search results might look like if you're conducting an advanced search with Optimizer. So our main publishers page within the network will give you some publisher details, but the Optimizer tool also gives you some additional details into each publisher. So you can get some additional details based on their average monthly visits and their social media following, and you can also get a breakdown of their social media presence. So if you're looking for a publisher that has an active Pinterest account or Instagram account, you can get an idea of their followers and things like that right from the Optimizer tool. So as we stated on past webinars, or as you'll always hear when it comes to recruiting publishers to your program, communication is definitely key, and it starts with the first communication when you first recruit a publisher to your program. So once you've created your list of publishers that you're looking to recruit and you've pushed them an invite, the next step is to send out a personal email to these publishers to ensure that they know that they have a pending application, but more importantly to start building that relationship with them. So you'll see an example of an email communication and a few items that you might want to include when you're first reaching out. And we recommend keeping that communication short and sweet, and just to provide enough info on your program so that the publisher has everything that they need. So a few items that you'll want to include are your brand name, why you're reaching out, and what's in it for that publisher. So you might want to include your average order value, your conversion rate, maybe some info on specific products and things like that as well. You might want to also ask a question within your communication to help prompt a response from that publisher so you can start that conversation quicker. So let's take a look at what some of the next steps and best practices are to follow up on your initial recruitment outreach. So a recruitment audit should be conducted quarterly, and it's important to do this step as part of your overall strategy. And I've definitely seen instances where publishers will accept an invitation but never actually follow through on setting up the merchant page on their site, or maybe they have outdated info. So conducting an audit ensures that the publisher is actively promoting your program and also has the most up-to-date info for products and offers and things like that as well. So to complete this audit, you can simply export the list of your joint publishers from the Publishers tab, pull a report from your Transaction Summary tab, and I typically look at the last 3 months as a date range. You can then run some VLOOKUPs to identify any publishers who are joined but not yet active. And these are the publishers that you can look to target for activation campaigns. And we'll discuss a little bit more about how to conduct an activation campaign a little bit later in the webinar as well. So I'd recommend reviewing any merchant page for publishers who have recently become active in your program, and confirm with that publisher that they have the proper logo. If they're using any banners, that they have the most up-to-date info as well. And optimization should be an ongoing focus with all of your publishers, but especially for those ones that have newly joined and are actively interested in working with you. So I also recommend setting up a call with these new publishers to learn about some of the different opportunities that they have available, and also discuss what your program's goals and KPIs are coming up. And the call is also a great opportunity for you to discuss different incentives offered from the program to see if the publisher is interested, and let that publisher know what you're capable of and what some of the options might be to help optimize your performance with them going forward. So another thing to keep in mind is that you can group your publishers, and grouping publishers has a lot of benefits. So you can also easily segment your communications and send newsletters specifically to publisher groups that you've created. So you may not want to have the same communication that goes out to your bloggers, that goes out to your coupon publishers. So it's great to create different groups within your program so that you can send them specific communications, and then you can also view your reporting to see what some of the trends are within certain publisher categories as well. And you may want to also create groups based on performance in your program. So you can have a group for maybe your top 5 or your top 10 publishers that allows you to send some quick communications to them and also take a look at their performance trends. So following up on your pending invitations should be a large focus of your overall recruitment effort as well. You can review all your pending invitations from the Publishers tab and filter using the status dropdown by invited. And be sure to send a follow-up email to any publisher who has been pending for longer than 7 days. In this email, remind the publisher of the invitation that's still pending, and maybe use a brief description of the brand as well as their earning potentials as well. But keep in mind that there are some publishers that have requirements for partnerships with them, such as launch fees or maybe a new merchant addendum. So be sure to inquire about that as well, or ask the advertiser support team or your account manager if you have any questions there. So we talked about activation campaigns a little while ago as well, so let's take a look at what some of the options are for running an activation campaign for your program. So activation and incentive campaigns are a great way to encourage new publishers to start promoting the program, as well as for your existing publishers to help improve performance. So a few different examples of the types of campaigns that you can run are listed here. And in this first example, a campaign is set up to target all inactive coupon publishers. Any publisher who's inactive and drives a specific number of sales during the month will receive a commission increase for the next month. It's important to give your publishers the tools they need to succeed. So I also recommend offering a semi-exclusive offer to these publishers for 30 days. So in this next example, the goal is to increase performance for your niche publishers. And in this example, the publisher is rewarded with a commission increase for their first sale by promoting specific products or products within the program. And then the last example is to target new publishers to begin actively promoting and generating revenue. So any publisher who joins and generates a certain number of sales within the first month receives a semi-exclusive. So you'll notice most of these campaigns have a threshold as part of their revenue goal, so be mindful that when you create your campaigns, you don't necessarily want to offer a $20 bonus for a $15 sale. So you want to have something that's enticing for that publisher to start promoting your program. So it's important to keep a timeline in mind as well when you're looking to recruit publishers to your program. And this slide has an example timeline of a successful recruitment strategy. So we'll take a quick look at what some of the different weeks look like here. So week 1, you should focus on identifying new partners and be sure to research and gain publisher insight as part of this task. So this is where you'll set up a tracker that you can start keeping your efforts organized, and also to take further dives into those publishers to find out how they're promoting and find the ones that you're really looking to partner with as soon as possible. So weeks 2 to 3 should focus on pushing your invites and sending introduction emails. Weeks 3 to 4 should focus on sending follow-up emails, so be sure to ask about any integration fees or any other requirements that might be holding up the process here. Week 5, you might want to set up calls to review the partnership as well as discuss different ways to optimize with that publisher. And be sure to express what your goals are for that partnership or what you're hoping to achieve. And definitely ask that publisher for recommendations in terms of what they see with similar advertisers or what some of the best ways to optimize with them might be. And then week 6 should focus on auditing. So ensure that your new publishers are actively promoting your program. Run activation campaigns to target any inactive publishers and incentivize them to start generating some sales and traffic. And definitely start some communication and messaging to your publishers so that they have the most up-to-date info for your program. And so we covered a lot of info here pretty quickly, so just to take a quick summary. So you want to expand your publisher base with targeted recruitment approaches. And this will definitely tie into your overall program goals. So analyzing top performers on the network you are not working with, conduct a competitive analysis to determine if the top publishers are actively promoting your program, focus on specific verticals to drive revenue, traffic, new customers, and your overall program value. So continue to use optimization tactics such as segmentation with your activation campaigns and optimization campaigns, and focus your efforts on open and frequent communication with your newly joined publishers. And so finally, let's take a look at just a few recommendations for publishers and some different publishers to take a look at when you're first recruiting to your program. So I have a few examples of top publishers on the network here. And these publishers all have a high transparency rating. And you'll see Ebates, Retail Me Not, Keep, and Who What Where are all listed here. And these are a variety of different publishers that use different promotional methods to promote, including loyalty, coupon, content, and deal. And you can take a look at some of the specific publisher descriptions here if you're not already familiar with them, and you can gain more insight into the type of audience that you're tapping into with each individual publisher. Keep in mind, especially as we're going towards the holiday season, that some publishers will enter a code freeze. Ebates, for example, is entering a code freeze for any advertiser that's currently in their queue on November 10th until mid-December. So if you're looking to integrate with them this year, you'll definitely want to reach out and make sure you get set up as soon as possible. So we are quickly approaching the holiday season as well, so I wanted to highlight a few holiday-specific publishers here. And these publishers have Black Friday and Cyber Monday specific pages, but be sure to discuss this with any publishers that you're communicating with as well to see if they have any gift guides or specific category pages related to the holidays. So you'll see this listed here for Brad's Deals, who has a specific Black Friday page, TGI Black Friday, theblackfriday.com, and offers.com, who has a Black Friday and Cyber Monday specific page as well. So our publisher development team also updates our new and notable publishers often for anyone that's new to the network and driving some traffic and revenue on the network. And you can find this right from your notification section when you log into your program. So be sure to check that out often for any publisher that's new to the network that might be a good fit for you to invite and start working with. So there's always a lot of questions that come up in terms of publisher recruitment. So I wanted to take a look at what some of the frequently asked questions are so we can go over these here. So one that you'll often receive is a publisher has not responded to your message, so what can you do? I definitely recommend checking out that publisher's website to see if you can find contact info. You should be visiting that publisher's site regardless to get some more info on their site, and many publishers will have a best contact page or form that you can fill out there as well. But if you do have any issues getting in contact with a publisher, maybe you've reached out a few times and you're having some issues getting in touch with them, you can reach out to your account manager or the advertiser support team, and we'd be happy to either make an introduction or maybe see if we have a better contact there. And if you're wondering if a publisher has specific requirements in order to join, you'll definitely want to reach out and see if they have that as well, or check their site to see if that might be listed, or the advertiser support team or your account manager might have that info handy. Another question that we'll get as well is the newsletter function, and can you send newsletters to any publisher who currently has a pending invite? So at this time, you can only use the newsletter function within your program to send newsletters to publishers who are joined to your program. So you may be wondering, how can you find publishers who recently joined Pepperjam? So you can utilize the recruitment tool in the interface. So after you go to the Manage Publishers page, you'll use your filtering options, sort the publisher results by ID in descending order, and these publishers have potential to grow on the network. So they're going to be very eager to get started and start promoting some brands, so they can be great publishers to touch base with. And maybe you're working with a blogger or a publisher who is not currently on Pepperjam, but you want them to sign up and start promoting your program. What you can do is go to the Settings tab, and you'll find an option for your sign-up form settings. So this page includes your sign-up form URL, and this acts as both the application to the network and your program. So once they fill out this form and submit it, our network quality team will review and make sure everything looks good. And then once they're accepted, they'll automatically appear as an applied publisher in your program, and you can go ahead and accept so they can start promoting. All right, so I'll open it up for any questions. If you want to include that in the chat feature, let me know, and I'll take a look at any that came through as well, and I'll answer those here shortly. All right, so I have a question on to clarify how to log into Optimizer. So just to go back to that as well, when you are on your home page, you'll notice up on the left-hand side, you'll see the Pepperjam logo, and you'll see an option for Network and Optimizer. You want to click on Optimizer. If you have not yet logged in, it will prompt you to use the Forgot Password tool. So click on Forgot Password, and then use the email that you used to log in to your program. And then you'll get an email with a password reset link, which you can set your password, and then you should be able to log into Optimizer. And if you have any issues logging in or any questions there, definitely let us know as well. So when you're inviting publishers to the program, and also reaching out to those invited publishers, you won't be able to view their full contact info within the network. So I always recommend visiting their site, especially just to get some more info on who they are and how they might be able to promote your program. But they'll often have a best contact page listed or some info there as well. But if you do have any issues getting in contact with them, you can certainly reach out to your account manager or the advertiser support team, and we can make an introduction there as well. So I do have a question on if a publisher exclusive offer can be a prior public coupon that has expired. That would be determined by you if that's something that you're able to offer. If you know that that's an inactive coupon that you're able to issue that publisher, you should be able to use that. But it's definitely specific to how you're promoting or how you're using your codes within the program. All right, and just so everyone knows as well, I did get a few questions here, so I will be sending out a copy of the deck as well as any questions that we don't have time to get to, and some of the different answers here after the presentation. So be on the lookout for that after the presentation is over. I do have another question on if you can download a list of publishers from Optimizer. So you should be able to use Optimizer to download an Excel file of publishers. So you can export that, and if you wanted to use that to create your list, you can do that there as well. Or if you're using Optimizer for specific publisher info, you can always go back to your account to download the list from there. And I do have another question on Optimizer. So in terms of your password, when you're logging in, you will have a separate password for Optimizer. Currently, it is a separate login. So you want to be sure you're using the email that you use to log into your network account, and then using a password that you'll use for Optimizer. If it helps, you can certainly use the same password that you're using for your program currently. All right, everyone, so we do have some additional time here, so if you do have any other questions, feel free to send those through. All right, so I do have a question on how soon you should expect to see traffic and revenue after following these guidelines. This is definitely specific to the publishers that you're looking to work with, your particular brand, and what your goals and your KPIs are for the program. So typically, we'll say if you're looking to work with more coupon loyalty sites, you should be seeing an increase in traffic and revenue pretty quickly. If you're working with more content sites like bloggers and things like that, it may take a little bit more time to see a return for traffic and revenue. They take a little bit more time to build up their content and their user base as well. So it really depends on your specific strategy. But if you do have some specific questions there, you can definitely reach out to us. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for attending today's webinar on effective recruitment for your affiliate program. As I mentioned before, I'll go ahead and send out a copy of the deck for everyone as well. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks for everyone for attending. Have a good day.